Recording in progress.
Hello, welcome everyone. Can everybody hear me? Just raise your hand. Let me see if I. Very good, thank you. Laurie, are you here? I don't see you here. Oh, yeah. Could you bring your flute? I would like you to play your flute if you have it with you. Okay, just bring it back and come back. Okay. So I've invited a number of people from a group here. We are learning the flute. So beginning next session, I will add the flute to our music. The flute, in India, flute is very well. The Lord Krishna would play this flute to uh, he was a cowherd, but he was more interested in the girls having a bath in the water there. But he would play his flute. So the flute is a very, very old instrument. It is probably the oldest. After the drum, it's the flute and then the bowls that we've been using all along, the Tibetan bowls. But that was used, those two, the flute and the drum, was just for music. The bowls are actually for healing and for more spiritual reasons. So these three will be our main go-to in the future. So today's talk will be about the microbiome. We'll have an Indian guy. This is a guy from India who came here about 50 years ago. He's a billionaire. He started a new company that looks at the microbiome. In our stomach, we have millions, trillions of bacteria. You can't imagine that. We have bacteria and they are good. There are some bad bacteria, just a few, but there are lots of good bacteria, and there's fungus and all the insects and all these small sort of things. We can't see them with the naked eye. But I'll tell you later on how our sound and our thoughts influence that. But to start with, since this is a sound healing session, let's start with about a few minutes of sound with the Tibetan bowls. So if you want to get into a relaxed position, set an intention for this session, whatever that intention. You just want peace, you want a good relationship with your family, with your friends, you want peace on earth, you want health, you want your body, microbiome, your stomach, your digestion to be in balance. Whatever the intention is, just set it. And for about 5 minutes, we'll do just sound healing. Just feel the vibrations coming through your body and moving through and bringing harmony in your body. So let's close your eyes if you want to, relax, sit down, sleep, whatever, and be in peace for a few minutes. We have 5 bowls, all different frequencies of the chakra system, from the head right down to the bottom called the Muladhara. Okay, if you gradually come back to the room, I'll spend a couple minutes going into some of the theory behind sound healing, and there's more and more research into what is called neuroscience to prove this. But basically, the whole universe is vibrations. Everything in the universe is vibrating. It's either rotating and vibrating or just rotating. Our bodies have vibrations. Our brains have four different states: alpha, beta, theta, gamma states of brain vibration. Everything, even our organs and our cells and the microbiome. We have 30 trillion cells and 3 times that amount of microbiome in our stomach. There are more external cells than body cells in our stomach, in our mouth, in our nose, in our eyebrows, all over. We cannot function without these things. They were here in the universe before humans got here. So what we're going to do is I'll show you a small clip about the microbiome, and then we'll talk about what its value is. So if you just hold for 1 second, let me share screen.
Well, most of recording in progress we talk about really comes from these chronic diseases. And the chronic diseases are, whether it's a Parkinson's, Alzheimer, when you look at depression, anxiety, or you look at OCD, ADHD, obesity, diabetes, cancer, or even all the autoimmune diseases. Every one of them is caused by one simple thing, which is a chronic inflammation. And the chronic inflammation happens because your gut microbiome is out of balance. As you know, that 70% of our immune system is along our gut lining. What we eat is what feeds the microbiome, and that actually trains our immune system. And when your microbiome is out of balance, your immune system is out of balance. And when your body is out of balance, it is not at ease, and which is what we call disease.
All right, so let's back up and give people a quick breakdown of exactly what the microbiome is.
We have microorganisms that support us. These are single cells with their own function and vibration and life cycle. The picture shows them here as bacteria, fungi, parasites, viruses, etc. that are both inside and outside our bodies.
And the coolest example I've ever heard you use is talking about humans as a form of AI that's basically meant to lug around the microbiome. Explain that. I thought that was really a pretty powerful insight.
Yeah, so actually, you think about that and say, how did humans actually got created? And if you think from the perspective of the nature, as you know, on our spacecraft we call planet Earth, these single-cell organisms, the eukaryotes and the bacteria and viruses and the fungi and yeast and the mold, they have been around for billions of years. The humans are give or take about a couple of 100,000 years old. So you wonder, how did humans got created?
What I love about that, it's really one of the first times I've heard somebody talk about the microbiome coming first, which obviously from an evolutionary standpoint it did.
Yes.
And talking about how nature really co-ops. If something works here, then it's likely to work there. And I remember thinking one time, why are all viruses bad? Like, why are all of their symptoms negative? The runny nose, the fever, and then I realized
They're not. We, in fact, if you think about us, we are a walking, talking ecosystem. So if you think from a spiritual perspective, or you think about from a larger universe perspective, we humans are part of this larger ecosystem we call environment. We as humans are environment in ourselves, the trillions of microorganisms inside us. We are a ecosystem. And when our ecosystem gets damaged because we are feeding it the wrong thing, then our body essentially starts to suffer. And same thing, when we start to impact our outside environment, our body starts to impact because we're part of this larger ecosystem. The thing that's most interesting is that it's only now that we are able to understand what is going on inside our body. It used to be completely a black box. And people always felt, for the time, they always wanted to eat healthy. But the problem was no one knew what was healthy. And so you will come up with these fad diets, but you start to look at the paleo diet, and you start to look at the ketogenic diet and the lactane diet, and every day there is a new fad diet. The fact is, you and I share almost the identical DNA. 99.9% of our DNA is identical. When it comes to our organism, our environment inside our body, less than 5% is the same. And that's the reason there is no such thing called inflammatory food or a healthy food, because a food that's healthy for you may not be healthy for someone else. In fact, the food that's healthy for you today may not be healthy for you in 3 months.
explain to people why exactly that is.
Yeah, so first of all, if you think about it, that our bodies are extremely unique, as I said, and our ecosystem inside the gut, so every time you eat food, what's the first thing is encountered by the microbiome. And depending on their ecosystem, they're able to metabolize that food and either produce the nutrients that your body needs, or it can produce the toxins that actually hurt the body and inflame the body. So for example, spinach. Most people will think spinach is healthy. It turns out spinach is not healthy for me. And the reason is, spinach has a lot of oxalate. And if you don't have the oxalobacter in your gut, it's actually not going to be oxalate cannot be metabolized by the gut microbiome. That means it's now being fed by someone else who is going to create lipopolysaccharides, which is LPS, which is going to cause inflammation in your body. So it turns out that as we have gone through now tens of thousands of people in our things, we find 30% of the people in our system today are, in fact, spinach is harmful to them. More than interesting thing is 50% of the people that we see that think of polyphenol, everybody thinks the pomegranate juice is good for them, or the walnuts are good for them, or the blueberries are good for them. All of these are really good for about half the people. Other half, you're simply wasting your money. It does nothing other than stressing and harming your body, because you do not have the right organisms to be able to digest them. So unlike everyone else in this field that has come before us, nobody has been able to see what these microbes are actually doing. They only focused on who they were. And interesting thing is, like us humans.
What do you mean they're only focused on who they were?
Yeah, so in a sense that there are two ways of looking at the things. Who are these organisms? What are their names? Are they named Paul and Tom and John? And it's Paul, Tom, and John, but is Paul the plumber, or is Paul the entrepreneur? Is Paul the electrician, or what is Paul actually doing? So knowing who they are doesn't tell you anything until you know exactly the function they are performing. So if you think about, by knowing the organism, it simply tells you what they could do. But just like any one of us, we have a potential, but we could be doing completely different things depending on what else is around us. So if you are with me, you could be calm and quiet. You could be with Lisa, you could be partying. right? So depending on who else is with you, you change your behavior, and simply based on what is being fed to you, you change your behavior.
Just really fast, explain
Yeah,
that.
so basically we have more foreign cells in our body than the human cell. When it comes to gene expression, our human DNA only expresses about 20,000 genes, and the microbiome in our gut produces about 0.2 million to 20 million genes. So at best, we are 1% human from a gene expression perspective.
Okay, uh, fairly complex topic. You know, the first time you listen to it, you say, "What's going on?" Our stomach, we have microorganisms there that control our DNA, control our thinking. They affect our health, but we can influence them with our mind, and that's where meditation comes in. That's where sound healing comes in, because they react to vibrations. They are all vibratory creatures. So our mind can create the vibrations. Meditation helps that, and the sound healing. That's where the sound healing comes in, because we come in with various different frequencies. Goes to the body, goes to the microorganisms in our stomach and calms them. If they are not the right type, it keeps them, like, settles them down. If they are right type, it encourages them. So that's where that comes in. So that's the purpose of sound healing. Besides, there are lots of other advantages to the body, to the mind. So we'll do some more sound healing later on, but I like this session to be a participatory thing. So I'll have Laurie do flute a little bit later, but initially I like everyone to participate in singing. Our voice box, the thyroid, is a very important thing. So singing, chanting is it's an ancient thing. All cultures, have been doing that. So we'll do some singing. I'll put on the words a little later on, but the first one is, we've done it many times. It's Sidney Poitier's song, Amen. Amen, 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 amen. We'll do that 3 times. The word amen is the same as aum, is the same as om. It transverts in different cultures. They say the same thing. It means the same thing. So let's do that 3 times, okay? You say om, say aum, say amen, say amin, whatever makes you happy. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Everyone, unmute yourself, please. Unmute yourself and let's all do it together. 3 times. Amen. 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 Once again now. Om. 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 Feel the vibrations going through your body. Amen. 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 Okay, I'm going to put the words of another song up here, and we'll do that in a second. 1 second, let me share screen. Mangale.
Recording in progress.
The first line is Mera Mangale. The second is Tera Mangale, your happiness, and Sabika Mangale, everyone's happiness. So I'll sing the first line, and then all of us will do this 3 times, these 3 lines, okay? It goes like this. Mera Mangale, Mera Mangale, Mera Mangale, Hooray. Okay, everybody, from the first line, everyone unmute yourselves and sing it loud. Mera. Mera Mangale. Mangale. Mera Mangale. Hooray. Tera Mangale. Tera Mangale. Tera Mangale Hooray. Sabika. Sabika Mangale. Sabika Mangale, Sabika Mangale, Hooray. Okay, let's stop sharing. We don't.
Recording in progress.
Okay, I would like Laurie to play the flute for us. I've taken a course in flute, and in future I'll be able to do it. But Laurie does a very good job of flute. Let's listen to it.
Oh boy.
Play any song you like. Just so.
I have no songs,
Okay.
but I'll just let whatever comes out play.
Right. Sound should be natural. That comes from the heart. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes. Okay. So now we'll go to our regular sound healing with the Tibetan bowls. We got about 10, maybe 15 minutes of that. So if you want to relax, feel it was very enjoyable. This is a very natural thing. You know, the bird, the woodpecker would build a hole in the branches of the trees, and the sound would come to the branches. Then the human beings decided to pick up what the bird did and started building the flute. So it's a very, very ancient instrument. Anyway, we'll go to the bowls just to give you a picture of the bowls. These are my bowls right here. I got 5 of them. So if you sit in a relaxed position, close your eyes if you want to, and feel the vibrations going into your body, into your microbiome, into your stomach. If you got any kind of upsets, it starts with the microbiome. Those little bacteria, they really control our lives. So feel these vibrations bringing peace right there, right inside the colon and the stomach of our bodies. These vibrations enter through our ears, the auditory nerve, but they also enter through the whole body. Our whole body, our skin has receptors that take the vibration, bring it to what is called the vagus nerve, and brings it back to the brain. And so the more peaceful, the more balanced we are, the more peaceful our brain becomes, more relaxed we become. And that brings harmony to our bodies. This is another ancient instrument, the drum, that matches our heartbeat. If there's any part of our body that is not working right, it's in disharmony, it's not vibrating at the right frequency, then the frequencies coming from these bowls and other instruments, they are natural sounds. That part entrains to the proper frequencies that it gets from the outside and comes back into balance. It's like going to a chiropractor. He puts our bones back into balance. These sounds do it for our organs, for the brain, for the microbiome. Keep taking slow, deep, long breaths. Okay, if you want to, gradually open your eyes, move your fingers, your toes, get some circulation moving, and come back and join our session. If anyone wants to share some thoughts, please unmute yourself and express yourself. Thank you, Laurie, for that flute rendition. It was very good.
Lawrence.
Yes, anyone wants to say something, please do so.
Yeah, this is Michelle. I'm in North Carolina.
Hi, Michelle.
Hello. I wanted to tell you, I happen to have my hands on my computer.
Yes.
And I could feel the vibrations coming through the computer through my hands.
Really?
It's
Okay.
pretty cool.
Very nice. Okay, this session may suddenly end, and if there's nothing more to say.
Lawrence.
Yeah. Hi.
I need to say, yay.
Nice to see you.
I was in quite some time, months.
Right.
Yeah. I have to say the best vibration you created is from your smile.
Okay, thank you.
How come you don't get old? So happy to see you.
Sound healing makes you young.
And you've gained so cool knowledge, like getting younger, and you're growing in your knowledge too, but I'm not really getting old.
Where are you? Where are you now?
I'm with Irving. Irving's sitting next to me.
Oh, wonderful.
Two of us. And Irving said, vacuum cleaner. Once he saw you, he mentioned vacuum cleaner.
We used to work at a meditation center in Texas.
Classic joke.
2 years ago, we were working at a meditation, and I used to vacuum the meditation hall, so that's why he's calling me vacuum cleaner.
You're cleaning our energy now.
Pardon?
Okay.
You're cleaning our energy with your
Oh,
magic
yes.
balls
Yes,
now.
yes. And practice singing. You know, singing, it's your voice does the most best healing, better than
Yeah,
listening to radio
true,
or anything else.
true.
Your voice heals yourself. It's the most ideal for bringing
I'm
balance.
Lawrence's sister. For those who are new, I'm Lawrence's sister,
That,
Clarissa from
that
India.
she's in India.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's been a great inspiration to me.
Yes, yes, indeed.
I look 30 years younger
You look
because of him.
so close. Yeah, you're so like brother and sister. Classic smile. Yeah, lovely, happy being coming out of your smile.
Thanks, Saleh, for organizing this. God bless you.
Yeah, thank you, Tari. Tari is in India. He organizes us every day. And last Friday,